pain, you achieve certain other things also. You have got the skill of separating your mind from the body little by little, then you do not feel the body weight and you feel light as if you have no body, and then you do not feel the pain, and with at the same time your attachment to the thoughts in the consciousness are also waning, and that is also not there, and then anything that you hear from outside, you do not get attached yourself to it, and initially you attach to it, get yourself attached to it, and then you let go. You come to a point where you do not attach yourself. So, your attachment to the physical body, outside noises and things, and the thoughts from the consciousness are all gone at one point of time, and that is the total separation from all these three. That is the target you have been looking for.
Yeah. Now, before coming to that target, now it's a particular point where you don't feel pain, and you know, now there is this training period, the one we talked about, like before coming to this point of Sotapanna. And so you just have to say, when we practice meditation, perhaps the scanning that you were talking about, when we practice that, if we just feel this smell coming, nice tempting smell coming from the kitchen, you just let it go. But you know, it might sound extremely difficult for someone who's listening to us, or someone who's doing it for the first time, or maybe just initiating it. So is it, I'm not very sure, but is it a good idea for such a person, if someone thinks, you know, I don't think I can, you know, let go all that, let go all the sounds I hear, let go all the smells I hear, I don't think it's possible for me. Is it a good suggestion if you think that, okay, I'll let it go at least for now, the period I'm meditating? Is it a good idea? Maybe I can, you know, if I really want it, I can have it later, but at least for now, while I'm practicing, I'm not sure whether it's a good idea. I'm just asking you.
That's the idea. In fact, you let go only to that moment.
Okay.
So you don't,
because that will make most of us happy. I think most listeners happy, because after all, we all crave for something at this level.
Yes. Okay. For that moment, you let go.
Yeah.
So next moment, for that moment you let go. So there's no future, there's no past. You have only one thought you are handling at one point of time. You let go. So initially, all these may be difficult, but you need to start from kindergarten, grade 1, and then go like that.
So I think that may be very encouraging to most of our viewers.
Certainly, yes. Please,
at the moment, you just let go.
Please put me in the correct track. Sometimes, when we talk, we go a little advanced, so that beginners may not pick certain things.
Yeah, but so I think the viewers of Buddhist channel, we have in all levels. So of course, I'm sure they'll benefit from this discussion greatly. So we were talking about the first degree.
Yes. So when one achieves the first vision of the path, that is something that happens within the mind. That person knows that I have reached up to this. I will never ever be born in hell. And that is much, much more than a PhD.
Definitely.
It's a PhD, but much, much more than that, because PhD or any degree, any doctor of medicine or any other advanced doctoral degree is conferred by an outside institution, the university. The university assesses, some senior academic or group of academics will assess the work that we have done. If they think your work is, the content of the work and the depth of the work is good enough to confer a PhD, you will get the PhD.
So but you know best because you have one.
Of course.
The permanent head damage PhD. Yes.
Okay. So, now that is something that an outsider gives you. Now, all this knowledge is subject to waning. You know, when you reach up to exam, the knowledge increases like this, and you sit the exam, the knowledge peaks, and you sit the exam at that time, then knowledge is coming down
all
slowly,
gone.
all gone, slowly coming down, and then you have a PhD, but without knowledge at the end. But when you get PhD, it's different. Your experience and your level of achievement is not just knowledge. So, we should not let down a PhD. I am not doing that because I have supervised PhDs and I have some experience in that area. But that Doctor of Philosophy means it's more than knowledge. The application, synthesis, creation of new knowledge is all there. So, that's a huge thing. But what I say, the PhD within the mind is much more than that, because that is going to stay with the person, and that training is very crucial. I will take one example of how you get an analogy to understand. Now, we learn to ride cycles, cycling. Suppose a boy learns to ride the bicycle when he is 10 years old, and he can ride very well, and for some reason or other he never sees a bicycle for the rest of the 70 years, and he is now 80. He is, if he is physically capable, if he is given a bicycle, once or twice, he can ride it. And a person who has never ridden a bicycle will not even look at the bicycle, because he knows that he is not going to do it. So, when you achieve a fruition of path, it is like this. When you see some kind of opportunity, you immediately pick it. That is why a person who has some kind of training is inclined to meditate and explore mind. So, not everybody is all that ready to meditate. Some people are ready, some people are not at all ready. So, that is how you get this readiness, and if you have some amount of previous training, that training is carried in the mind. So, you got the first degree. So, when you get this first degree, you have been in the university quite some time, experienced lot of things, you have gained your knowledge, you have gained your application possibilities, you have gained your synthesizing possibilities and creating new wisdom, and you have become a wise person. And this is all within you, no 100% you got it, and no one else gave it to you, and no one else will see it either. So, you know it, you have it, and others might not recognize, because it is not easy to differentiate a person who achieves and person who has not achieved, because by looking the outside look, nobody can recognize. So, that is entering the university mind and going along a little bit, and there is lot of things further degrees, postdoctoral, and a lot of experience.
So, why do you think people, like academics, they sacrifice so much to get their PhD? Is it because the PhD inside is more difficult?
You need to be exposed to certain paradigms. Now, the university degree qualifies you to obtain a job. So, it is a matter of survival, and you born and you go to school because you need to be educated to be in par with other people, and there is always a competition, and then to go on top and be in competition, you need to study, you need to go to the university, and then primarily it is for living. In addition, people do it for to help the mankind progress, and then they produce new things, make new appliances, and for that purpose. But I invite the viewers to watch carefully the people who are educated, and these educated people, like a person who is not educated, they lose temper.
Sure.
They become sad at times, and they feel pain, they suffer from pain, they have their share of illnesses, and then what is the difference at the end? There is no huge difference. So,
and there are even like, though it is very much less likely, there are even educated people taking part in crime as well.
Definitely, yes. Now, a recent research report says 25% of Sri Lankan adults are diabetic. One reason, one causative factor for diabetes, and for that matter hypertension, heart disease, stroke, one risk factor is mental stress. So, when you are put in the competition, a competition that is lasting years and years, and lot of people go under stress. So, they produce their own share of non-communicable diseases.
Sure.
So, we definitely need more than education, and this looking at the mind, being happy, being comfortable, and having this long lasting happiness is necessary if we are to reverse this trend. We are in a dangerous trend of these non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, strokes.
Yes, so now knowing that we are in this dangerous track, and knowing that it's sometimes maybe because of stress that we are diagnosed with certain sicknesses like diabetes and so on. Now, but still we have to run this race, as lay people we have to work, and we have to manage our family, we have to pay attention to our spouses, our children, our parents, and there are yet so many things to do. With all that, how can you just find time to meditate?
Okay, it's a good question. There are two questions in that. One is the first question that I saw is why do we need so much of money? We don't need so much of money. If you have money without much effort, and then you might use it, there is no issue, you can use your own wealth, there is absolutely no problem. But we need only very little money to live, and rest of the money is spent on unnecessary transport, other appliances like communication requirements, and when you have a mobile phone, you have more talks than when you don't have a mobile phone.
Sure.
And 90% of those talks are you can live without. So, but you spend on those, and then a good clean 3 sets of clothes is enough for a person to live. We buy clothes to be in competition and show a little more. So, the food is also the Sri Lankan traditional, not very expensive food is found to be the best food, healthy food in the world. People in the West are now looking for Oriental Sri Lankan type red rice, vegetables, maybe a little fish also, that kind of foods. We have a variety of foods that we never ever seen in some of the other countries, and not very expensive. So, we do not need lot of money, and if we realize that we do not need lot of money to live, and you have achieved lot of things, then you do not go for unnecessary money, then you have time. Then you have time, and next is the next question, how to find time to meditate. There's a nice sutta exactly telling how you can organize yourself to find time to meditate. That's Vyagapajja Sutra, where the requirements are, skills are spelled out. One is you have to have time management, your priorities, and if you are really embarked on developing your mind, being happy and reducing your stress, and if that is your number one priority, you always put some time to meditate in your diary. That is the first priority, and you do it and you will meditate. Problem is that it's a matter of priority. There is no time to meditate. This is what everybody says, but they watch movies and teledramas and various other things and have long chats with friends and all that.
Yeah, but there's something like this also, sir. Now, they watch movies and all that. Maybe when they're tired after work, maybe it's not the best time to meditate. So, maybe it's a good time to watch a movie. If they're too tired.
Yeah, a movie is always more than 1 hour, 1.5 hours,
yes,
2 hours.
Definitely.
Teledrama goes on for half an hour. You may be tired, but take a wash, have a cup of tea, try meditating, and you will certainly do it. And if you are very tired, you will fall asleep. Still, you can meditate. If you want to have a little nap, have a little nap. You time it. If you have a mobile phone, set a half an hour alarm, or ask somebody to wake you up and sleep for half an hour, and you are fresh and you can meditate. So, that is what I do when I am tired. If I have a feeling that if I can't meditate, I will fall asleep. What I do is I take half an hour. I set my alarm. Half an hour, I am up. Within that half an hour, you may not sleep in the entire half an hour. But if you sleep for 5 minutes, it's enough.
Still it helps.
Yeah, that
it
is
helps
enough.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, do that.
Yeah.
And then you have another half an hour, 1 hour to meditate. So, you have to be very tactful and skillful, and the going in this path has to come in the number one priority, because this is for your happiness. And then you have to manage your time. Then you have to have your born skills, your tendency to meditate, tendency to explore the mind and being happy and all that. If you have that tendency, you will embark on this and you keep doing that. And those who do not have this tendency, somehow the other has to come into this stream and start doing it. So, you need to ask somebody, tell me, remind me to meditate, and then somebody at home will help. So, those are two things. And then should never be lazy. If you are lazy, do something about it. I can't tell you in this and this topic how to overcome your laziness, but maybe later. The third thing, and then you have to organize your work and home affairs. If you have your children, you have to do the needful to them, and then do the best in your job. And if when you start going along this path, your time management efficiency, the unit time performance will improve. Half an hour's job you will finish in 25 minutes, and then you save 5 minutes every half an hour, and then 1 hour 10 minutes. If you work for 8 hours, you have saved 80 minutes. So, use that 80 minutes to meditate, and that will perpetually be in a favorable cycle. So, like that, you need to organize your mundane life and the supramundane life, so that you keep doing this meditation. And to be in the university, you need all these things. A person in the university is always a scholar.
Yeah.
So, you need to get this scholarly attitude, the scholarly skills, and the organization within the time management. When you have it, you will keep doing this, and then you will achieve more and more, and then beyond one point do not need very much support, and you will find your own way.
Yes. Now, since we have around 5 minutes, now we have been discussing about, you know, like how to find time to meditate, and especially in prioritizing what you have to do. So, it depends on how you prioritize things as well. Now, if I ask you, if a person thinks, why should I do all this? What is the scientific, you know, basis of what the Buddha taught compared to, you know, the university way of thinking?
Okay, that is a very good question. In fact, something that we should discuss, because modern times people understand things in scientific terms. We said at the beginning, we have the physical body, we have the mind, and we have this database, the consciousness. Everybody knows that they get unnecessary thoughts at certain times, in the sense that sometimes you are listening to a lecture or listening to somebody, and thoughts related to the job or home will pop up into your mind, and then you will be thinking about it while just staring at the person who talks, and you are not listening.
Yes.
And that is an unnecessary thought. Everybody experiences this, and that brings stress.
Sure.
Exam stress, sorrowful thoughts of somebody being sick or something. All these are popping up thoughts. The ordinary person absolutely no control over this. So, that brings in unhappiness, pain, sorrow, and almost 99.9% of people experience this. Nobody wants those. If that is the case, we should be having a method to cure this illness, and this is the method. The science in this is that we see these